In a small, quiet town, a young couple named Emily and Mark had just welcomed their first child. A beautiful baby boy they named Noah. Their home, once just a peaceful space for two, was now filled with a new kind of warmth, the sound of tiny giggles, and of course, the soft, familiar purr of their cat, Luna. Luna had been a cherished part of their lives for years. She was a calm, gentle soul, always by Emily's side, a silent companion through thick and thin. But when the baby arrived, something shifted. Luna seemed to develop a new purpose. She would spend hours perched near the crib, her gaze fixed on the tiny human, watching him with an intensity that was both curious and deeply protective. At first, Emily couldn't help but feel a flicker of worry. We've all heard those stories, haven't we? Tales of pets feeling jealous or replaced by a new baby. She'd read articles and seen videos, and a small part of her feared that Luna might not adjust well. But what she witnessed was the complete opposite of jealousy. Instead of resentment, Luna showed only a profound sense of curiosity and an overflowing affection. It was as if this tiny new person had captivated her completely. Whenever Noah would let out a cry, Luna would spring into action. She'd leap onto the chair beside the crib and let out a soft, reassuring meow, a gentle sound that seemed to say, "It's okay, little one, you're not alone." Sometimes when Emily would sit by the crib, singing a lullaby to coax Noah to sleep, Luna would curl up around her feet. Her long tail would swish slowly, almost in perfect time with the rhythm of the melody, a silent participant in their nightly ritual. Luna wasn't just a pet anymore. She was becoming Noah's furry guardian angel. One evening, a cold, biting wind rattled the windows as rain began to tap a somber rhythm against the glass. A distant rumble of thunder echoed through the quiet house. Mark was working a late shift, leaving Emily alone with the baby for the night. The past few days had been a blur of feedings, diaper changes, and sleepless nights. Emily was running on empty, her body and mind crying out for rest. Around midnight, a blessed silence finally fell over the house. Noah had at last stopped crying, his tiny chest rising and falling in a peaceful rhythm. Exhausted, Emily gently placed him in his crib, her movements slow and heavy. "Good night, my little one," she whispered, her voice thick with sleep. She collapsed onto the couch right beside the crib, intending to just rest her eyes for a moment. In her exhaustion, she didn't even notice Luna hopping silently onto the wide windowsill, her silhouette framed by the faint moonlight, watching over both of them like a silent sentinel. The house was finally still. But as the night deepened and the storm outside grew stronger, a hidden danger was stirring within their peaceful home. A faint, almost unnoticeable smell began to creep through the air, the acrid scent of something burning. Deep within the walls, a frayed wire in the old space heater had short-circuited. A tiny spark, no bigger than a firefly, jumped from the wire and landed on the soft, fluffy edge of the blanket draped over the side of Noah's crib. At first, it was just a tiny glowing ember, but it quickly began to smolder, slowly eating away at the fabric. Emily, lost in the deepest sleep she'd had in days, was completely oblivious to the growing threat just feet away from her. In the crib, the baby stirred restlessly, sensing the change in the air, and let out a weak, muffled cry. On the windowsill, Luna's ears twitched. Her green eyes, which had been half closed, snapped wide open. She didn't hesitate for a second. She launched herself from the ledge, landing silently on the floor. With a desperate urgency, she began to claw at the blanket, her sharp claws snagging the fabric, pulling and tugging it away from the smoldering edge. The small fire was extinguished, but the danger wasn't over. The heater was still malfunctioning. With the immediate threat handled, she then leaped onto the couch. Her focus now on Emily, she began pawing and clawing at Emily's arm, letting out a series of loud, frantic meows, a sound Emily had never heard her make before. Emily awoke with a jolt, disoriented and confused by Luna's frantic behavior. Her first thought was annoyance, but then the smell hit her, the unmistakable, sharp smell of smoke. Her heart leaped into her throat. Her eyes darted around the dimly lit room and saw the faint haze lingering in the air. Panic seized her. In a single fluid motion, she lunged toward the crib, scooped Noah into her arms, and ran. She didn't stop for shoes or a coat. She just burst out the front door into the cold, rain-soaked night, gasping for fresh air. Shaking, she fumbled for her phone and dialed for help. Moments later, the wail of sirens pierced the night, and a fire truck pulled up to the house. The firefighters rushed inside, but the crisis was already over. The fire had been small, contained to the blanket that Luna had pulled away. It had barely spread. One of the firefighters came out and knelt down beside her. He looked at the trembling cat sitting calmly by Emily's feet and said softly, "If it weren't for your cat, ma'am, you might not have woken up in time. She's a hero." Emily clutched Noah tightly, tears of relief and gratitude streaming down her face, her gaze falling on the small furry creature who had just saved their lives. The next morning, the storm had passed, and warm sunlight once again streamed through the windows, filling the room with a gentle, hopeful glow. The scent of smoke was gone, replaced by the fresh smell of morning air. Luna was back at her post, sitting beside Noah's crib, her tail curled neatly around her paws. She watched him sleep, his breathing soft and even a picture of perfect peace. Emily walked over and knelt down beside her. She looked at this incredible animal, her heart overflowing with a love so profound it brought fresh tears to her eyes. "You saved him, Luna," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You saved both of us. You saved our family." She reached out a trembling hand and gently stroked Luna's soft fur. Luna didn't purr or meow. She simply looked up at Emily and blinked slowly, a deliberate, lingering blink. It's a gesture that cat lovers know well, a silent, powerful expression of trust and affection. In that quiet moment, it was a cat's way of saying, "I love you." Too. From that day forward, the bond between them was forever changed. Luna was no longer just their pet. She was an integral, irreplaceable member of their family. She was their quiet guardian, their furry protector, a hero who had acted not out of instinct but out of a deep, unwavering love. She possessed no words to express her devotion, but her actions spoke louder than any human language ever could. She had a heart bigger and braver than anyone could have ever imagined. And every single night, without fail, as Noah drifted off to sleep in his crib, Luna would take her place nearby. A silent, watchful protector, a constant presence in the dark, just to make sure her little human was safe. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and subscribe for more incredible stories of animal heroes. We'll see you next time.